Have you ever come across people who live like parasites? My name is Violet, and I've met three such individuals. My in-laws are the quintessential leeches. They never worked hard and always wanted more than they could afford. My husband Nate was the only successful member of his family and quickly became their cash cow. When I was dating Nate, I had no idea how bad things were. He warned me, but I refused to believe him. After we got married, I saw just how bad his parents, Ben and Donna, were. He also had a brother, Shane, who was the golden child and had never worked a day in his life. And he wasn't a teenager, he was a grown adult in his 20s. Because of my in-laws, Nate and I had to sacrifice a lot. Nate had a good job while I was a stay-at-home wife. This was a joint decision since Nate's job was stressful, and he needed someone to take care of him. We were okay with this arrangement. However, money was always tight because his family took half of his salary. He paid their rent and utilities along with ours, yet they were never satisfied. Nate, you need to put in more money towards us. It's not fair you spend so much on your wife. She can get a job if she wants money. We're a 3-person family, we deserve more. What you give us isn't enough. Do you want to see us in poor condition? He just wants to keep his useless housewife happy. I don't know why he pays for her. All she does is lounge around the house and look at her phone. I always told you not to spend so much on the wedding, yet you gave in to everything Violet said. Now you have no money for us. That's not what a good son would do, they would say. The emotional blackmail never stopped. Surprisingly, they never made Shane work. He stayed with them, and Nate had to pay for his expenses as well. I never complained because I knew family was important. However, I had no idea I would become a victim of my in-laws. It all started when Donna and Ben got sick one after another. The hospital bills racked up, and the entire situation was pretty stressful for all of us. One day, Nate came home from the office looking very upset. I could tell something was bothering him, and I started to feel concerned. Nate, what's wrong? Please talk to me, I urged. Violet, my parents are very sick. They're having a hard time managing on their own. I really don't know what to do. Shane will be of no help, Nate said. Oh my God, how bad is it? I know they've been to the hospital, but I thought they were doing okay. They are better now, but they still need help around the house. Besides, their medical bills are still pending. I don't know how I will clear those bills and pay the rent for 2 houses at the same time. I'm so sorry, Nate. I can see it stressing you out. Please tell me if I can help in any way. I'm willing to help for your sake. I'm glad you asked, Violet. I was wondering if you would be willing to go live with them. It'll be for a short while. Our lease will end next month anyway. If we live with my parents, I can save rent on 1 house. That way, they'll get some help, and I'll be able to clear their medical bills too. There's a lot to think about, Nate, but if that's what makes you happy, we can go live with them. I should warn you though, if they treat me unfairly, I will leave. I will make sure they won't do that. You're already sacrificing a lot for them. This time, if they mess up, I won't take it lightly. Consider this the last favor you do for me. We set some ground rules, and Nate informed his parents about the arrangement. From what I could gather, they were pretty happy with everything. Instead of reassuring me, Nate's words set off alarm bells in my head. I prayed I wouldn't regret my decision, but my worst fears were soon realized. With everything set, Nate and I packed up and moved in with my in-laws. We used their spare guest room as our bedroom. Shane made some noise about needing the room for his personal reasons, but Nate shut that down quickly. His parents were surprisingly warm and welcoming, which I suspected was because they wanted to stay in Nate's good graces. However, things took a drastic turn as soon as Nate left for the office. As soon as he was gone, my in-laws pounced on me with a long list of chores. I had moved in with them to help out, but I found myself doing everything on my own. I did their laundry, cleaning, cooking, dishes, mowing the lawn, fixing things, and driving them to places. Ben and Donna just had diabetes and recovered quickly, but they acted as if they were paralyzed. I was okay with doing the work for Ben and Donna because they were getting old, and I didn't have the heart to make sick people work. However, everyone expected me to do Shane's work as well. Shane did nothing all day. He got up late, demanded I make his favorite breakfast, stayed in his room and littered all over, and only came down for meals. Even during meals, he complained. He never did it at dinner because he knew Nate would crack down on him. When Nate wasn't around, Shane always said, "Why'd you cook this crap every day? I don't eat this. Who the hell likes veggies anyway?" It's a balanced meal, Shane. There's meat in it as well. You can ignore the veggies if you want. I don't like this at all. Go make me something else. I feel like having lasagna today. And for dinner, make me a steak. Do you really expect me to stop and make lasagna right now? It will take hours. I just finished cooking 2 meals today and still have to prepare for dinner. Why don't you make yourself something? How dare you talk to me like that? I don't cook. I'm a man. Women should do the cooking. My brother is looking after you for a reason. It's your job to feed and work for his family. No, I'm only responsible for taking care of Nate. All this is extra. Besides, Ben and Donna are sick, but you're fit as a fiddle. You need to help out more. Hearing this, Shane called out to his parents in a classic man-child fashion. It was so ridiculous that I would have laughed if I weren't mentally and physically exhausted. Ben and Donna came running, and they sure appeared fine when defending their son. They heard Shane's tale and said, "Violet, how dare you tell my son to help? This is your job as a housewife. Nate didn't marry you to be a parasite in this family. Yes, you have some nerve staying in my house and telling my son to do your job. He's a man and doesn't have to do feminine work. That's what you're here for. I am not your servant. I am already doing a lot for you guys. The least he can do is make his own meals if he doesn't like mine." Shane literally does nothing but sit around. What he does is none of your business. Now go make him lasagna. If that's what my baby wants, he will get it. There is no room for arguments. I don't want it anymore. Shane sneered. I changed my mind, Violet. Give me some money for takeout to make up for insulting me today. I was furious but knew arguing would be pointless. I reluctantly took money out of my pocket and handed it to Shane. It was a bad day for me and I wanted to cry, but I held back. Instead, I reassured myself that my time would come. Unknown to everyone, I was already collecting evidence of their mistreatment. I had recordings on my phone and proof that Shane regularly asked me for money. I wanted to try and salvage the situation, not wanting to stress Nate more than he already was. He worked hard to take care of us all, and I wanted to support him in return. Somehow, I managed to live with them for 6 months. Their behavior never changed. Instead, their demands escalated day by day. Shane still wasn't working or contributing in any way. Nate constantly berated him for being unemployed, but Shane never talked back to him. However, when Nate was gone, Shane took his anger out on me. He made me clean his room, cook meals, and do his laundry. If I refused, he would complain to Ben and Donna, and the 3 of them would corner me and verbally abuse me until I gave in. Slowly, I was hitting rock bottom. The worst thing happened just when the 6th month came to an end. It was a horrible July with severe thunderstorms, and Nate had to be away on a business trip that weekend. Our area was on high alert for tornadoes. Everyone was worried, and even Nate had a hard time being away from us. Just as I finished preparing lunch, Shane came down from his room and said, You made that food again? Why can't you just follow my damn instructions? Donna and Ben are both diabetic, Shane. We can't have rich and oily food every day for health reasons. How many times do I have to tell you to make my meal separately? You are such a lazy witch. I wonder what Nate ever saw in you. Since you don't want to cook, you could go get me McDonald's. Are you insane? There's a tornado alert. Do you really want me to go out in this weather? Don't be dramatic. It's not that serious. Besides, this is your job. You need to get me something or make me a new meal from scratch. Oh, and my room is dirty. You've been slacking off. You better go clean it. Absolutely not. I'm not doing your work anymore. I already have a lot on my plate with stocking groceries and preparing for the storms. From now on, if you don't like anything, you can cook your own food. You are a grown man, so clean your own room. What did you just say? Just wait till Mom and Dad hear about this. You'll pay for talking to me like this. Shane, as usual, called Ben and Donna. At that moment, I knew things were about to hit the fan. So I got my phone out and started recording. Ben and Donna came down, and Shane cried to them about how badly I was treating him. You have no shame, Violet. We've told you multiple times that our son won't do a woman's job. You never listened to us. You're an ungrateful witch wasting Nate's money, and said. I always knew this little witch was a leech. See, I was right. How dare you mistreat my son in my own house? We've been hosting you, and you have no gratitude, Donna added. I'm tired of working like a dog for you guys. All you 3 do is sit and complain. There is just so much a person can take. Besides, I'm working enough for this household. You are the ones living like parasites. How dare you insult us and call us parasites? It's Nate's duty to look after his parents, and you, as the daughter-in-law, are responsible for taking care of us, Ben retorted. Telling her won't work anymore. She's gone too far. We need to teach her a lesson, Ben. Since this is our house, Violet, you are no longer welcome here. If you can't respect us and do your job, you need to get out, Donna declared. Yes, Mom, Dad, kick her out. That will teach her not to disrespect us in our house, Shane chimed in. With that, Donna grabbed me by the arm and dragged me towards the door. Before I could react, she pushed me out and locked the door behind her. I fell on the wet grass, scratching my hands and knees. I immediately got up and started banging on their door. No, you can't kick me out. What is wrong with you? There's a tornado coming, and the thunderstorm is already here. You can't keep me outside. Stop shouting, Violet. It'll be of no use. This will be the perfect lesson for you. Now you will know what it feels like not to have a roof over your head, Donna shouted from inside. This is inhumane. You need to let me in. I can't stay out in a storm. It's not safe. I'm already drenched to the bone. Yell all you want, but we'll protect our son first. A girl like you needs to know her place. Now go away before I call the police. I continued banging on their door and crying, but they just turned and left for their rooms. Within seconds, I was completely soaked and started shivering from the cold. The storm was already in full force, and I was scared for my life. Just when I had given up hope, a neighbor lady approached me and told me to come with her. I followed her to her house and felt a wave of relief wash over me. She was an old woman who lived next door and had heard the entire ordeal. She decided to help me. As soon as I reached her house, I broke down in sobs. I knew it was time to finally stand up for myself. The neighbor lady gave me fresh clothes and comforted me while I cried on her sofa. As the storm died down, rage boiled within me, and my resolve grew stronger. I immediately called Nate once I had a better signal and said, Nate, there's something I need to tell you. What happened, Violet? Is everything okay? Has the storm passed? I saw it on the news. Yes, the tornado didn't hit, but there was a bad thunderstorm. The weather has calmed down now. Then what's wrong, dear? Tell me immediately. I'm getting anxious. Your parents kicked me out today. I'm at the neighbor's house, calling you from here. What? That's impossible. Why would they do that? I'm so sorry, Nate. I tried my best to help your family, but they've been verbally abusing me and overworking me. They kicked me out because I refused to remake a meal for Shane or get takeout for him. That's insane. How could they just kick you out like that? Don't believe me? I'll send you some videos. You can watch them and decide. I hung up and sent the videos to Nate. Additionally, the neighbor lady called him and told him what she had witnessed herself. There was a long silence before Nate told me he would be back soon. Meanwhile, my in-laws didn't try to contact me until an hour after I talked to Nate. They were peacefully staying at the house and didn't even care if I was safe. However, when they started blowing up my phone, they called me back into the house. I went there for a final confrontation and said, "What do you want now? After kicking me out, you had no regard for my safety. What's the point of calling me back here? We made a mistake, Violet. Things happen sometimes. We are family. Don't be mad at us. We'll apologize to you. Yes, we can just apologize and move on. Even Shane here will say sorry. Let's just put it past us." Oh, I'm sorry, Violet. This will never happen again. We were being stupid, Shane added. Wow, that's some change in your behavior. What brought this on, may I ask? Nate called us today. He was pretty upset. He said he will look past this if you forgive us. Yeah, if you don't, then he will stop supporting us. You know we are sick and old. Please don't hold a grudge. Without Nate's support, we will be homeless. Good, because that's what you deserve. People who have no empathy for others should not be shown mercy. I will tell Nate that I won't live with you three anymore, and I don't accept your apology. What Nate does after this is completely his choice. As soon as I said that, the trio started to beg and plead for mercy. They kept repeating that they were sorry and it wouldn't happen again. Shane even had the audacity to say that kicking me out was a small joke that went too far and that holding grudges was childish. I ignored them, gathered some of my things, and returned to the neighbor's house. I also called Nate and told him that I would never forgive my in-laws again. Nate took my decision very seriously. He flew back a day early and went straight to my in-laws. When he returned, he told me he wasn't going to support them anymore. He was tired of them treating me unfairly, and enough was enough. Nate decided to stop sending them money for rent or medical bills and wouldn't give them any allowance. Shane would be completely responsible for Donna and Ben. How he would do that was none of our business. Nate and I started looking for a new place. We got lucky because one of his colleagues was renting out one of his apartments. We jumped at the offer and began moving our things the next day. Nate also profusely thanked the neighbor lady for protecting me when he couldn't. Suffice to say, we will continue to keep in touch with her. Meanwhile, Ben, Donna, and Shane thought Nate was bluffing. They asked for forgiveness but never actively tried to improve their situation. So the following month, when Nate didn't send the money, my in-laws were in big trouble. They started blowing up our phones and even called me horrible things. Nate and I simply blocked them. Any relative who felt sorry for them was sent proof of their misbehavior, and that shut them up real quick. It's been a long time since then. Nate no longer sends them any money. Shane was forced to work in a warehouse and earns very little. The three of them live in a small camper, and things are not looking good for them. Nate and I, on the other hand, have finally put a down payment on our dream home. I'm also currently pregnant and expecting our first child. We are looking forward to our new life, away from the leeches that are my in-laws.